Good day, my fellow beautiful weird people, and welcome back to me, myself, and my big mouth, where you get to listen to me give my unsolicited opinions on movies, music, books, as well as my little travel adventures from time to time. So, today I'll be looking into a movie that is causing a lot of rave and buzz on social media and Netflix for the past week called Straw, produced by Tyler Perry and Tara P. Henson playing the lead character. She was very fantastic. I will try not to give any spoiler, but can I spoil a movie that, in my opinion, was already spoiled as far back as 2002? I know some of you will be scratching your head at this point and wondering what is he talking about, but just give me a moment to explain. In 2002, a movie with a similar plot called John Q, yeah, you heard me, not John Wick, John Q, was released with my man, the one and only King Kong ain't got shit on me, Denzel Washington playing the lead. Now, before you think I'm reaching, and maybe this is all in my head, how about we play a little game? I will give you a review of just John Q. And if at any moment it sounds remotely like Straw, I win. And you and all your village people will have to subscribe, push the like button and share. See what I did there? But true, I beg, I'm gonna subscribe. Now let's get down to business. So the movie John Q is about a man, John Quincy Archibald, played by Denzel, whose son suddenly collapsed during a baseball game. When he and his wife rushed him to the hospital, they were informed by the cardiologist and the head administrator that his son needs a heart transplant, costing $250,000, or he will die. Now, John was a working man. So, yeah, working man, not the Jason Statham type of working man. He worked at the factory and he had a health insurance policy. So, this should not be a problem, yeah? Wrong. Because he found out that his health insurance from his company could not cover due to the organization changing some policies, switching the insurance carriers, blah blah blah. In a nutshell, he was screwed by the organization that he has worked almost all his life at, and he didn't have enough health insurance to pay for his son's medical bill. Now, due to the type of health condition which requires like an organ transplant, right? The process is your son or whoever it is that needs that organ gets on a list. So there's a list before then you get an organ that is matched that they would be using for your surgery. The hospital was requiring 75k just to place the son on the list. This is not to start the surgery, just to place the son on the list. And to make matters worse, his wife and himself, they were behind on also their rent. Also, they were behind on their car payment, and they had only like $1,000 in their savings. So when John realized that the hospital just wanted to send his son home to die, he decided to make one last desperate attempt. Went to the hospital, took the cardiologist to perform the surgery. He offered the little that he had and tried to convince him. When he saw that it wasn't yielding any result, rather the result he wanted, that was when he snapped. He was packing, so he pulled into his pack, pulled out a pistol and some chains, barricaded all the exit and entrance into the hospital, locking in the doctors, the nurses, and other patients that came for treatment. And he had one single demand: place my son on that organ receiving list. Over time, during the whole hostage situation, he developed bond with the hostages because they realized that he was a good man and a caring father. Unknown to John, his act has created a lot of media attention, with people outside the hospital rallying and cheering for him. People in the hospital were also supporting him because it was like all treatment in the hospital is for free. Most people outside were supporting him because people were tired of big corporations screwing common people of quality health care. He later released like two hostages with their infant son. I think it's a couple. Two hostages were a couple with their infant son. And when they were interviewed, they were like, he's a good man and all of that. So there was a lot of confusion. This is someone that is holding someone hostage and you're saying it's a good person. Stockholm Syndrome, or this is just a man that is desperate to save his son. What made the public now to really support John was a particular action in all of this. John was already having negotiations with the police, and the police had their surveillance of their own car server, observing what was happening inside. The press were there, but they didn't have footage to understand what was happening inside until an overzealous reporter hacked the police server to see what was really going inside the hospital. and broadcast it on national TV. At the same moment that the broadcaster did, the reporter did that, an overzealous chief of police came and hijacked the interrogation process because, in his opinion, the person negotiating wasn't doing a very good job. And for him, he wanted to use brute force. So he sent in a sniper via the air vent, or is it the air shaft of the hospital, to take out John. Unknown to him, the reporter was already broadcasting. It is not a good decision to put hostage life at risk by sending in a sniper when you already know that the negotiation is just for, like, let's say, the negotiation is still ongoing. Brute force is not an option when you know that people's life who are the hostages would be at risk. And in the same time that this broadcast was going on, John Q was having an emotional moment with his son, talking to him on the phone, saying that daddy is going to make sure you are okay. And the whole world was hearing this man pouring his heart out. And at the same time, he got hit by a sniper, but not in any place to, do any killing to just unalive him. Not in any place delicate as that. Long story short, he was able to overpower the sniper and just tie him up, and the whole crowd were like, they were hysteric, cheering, saying that he wasn't killed and he was able to overpower the sniper. He came outside boldly and he talked to the negotiator, saying that is this what they were talking about, threw the gun of the sniper, and then made one request of wanting his son to come to him because he was in the ER section of the hospital and the son was in another section of the hospital. At this point, the head administrator had to, give in and said that they were going to do the treatment of his son pro bono, and also he would be placed on the list. He was actually placed on the list because they were tired of the attention it was given. His son was then brought to him, and when his son was brought to him, John Q was impatient to wait for a donor, and his plan was to unalive himself and give his heart to his son using the gun. It was at this point even the hostages then knew that he only had one bullet, and he knew what the only person he had plans of killing today was himself. He was about pulling the trigger to kill himself when his wife ran and told him that they found the match. She wasn't let inside, she was screaming from the outside. At the end, the surgery was successful. John was apprehended by the police. He had his day in court where his actions have sparked national debates about healthcare. He was acquitted of most charges but didn't go unscathed, as he was found guilty of kidnapping and forced imprisonment. His lawyer assured him that he would likely serve no more than 2 years. He said a temporary goodbye to his family and the end. Just to summarize, so both movies, the lead characters were motivated by the need to save their kids with a health condition. Both movies had a hostage situation where the negotiator was empathetic and they had a boss that was breathing up their behind. Both lead characters were screwed by their boss's organization. One was health insurance, the other was just a paycheck. Both movies had the police negotiator clashing with their boss or higher authorities. I already stated that. Both movies had the lead character supported by the public for their actions. Both characters had series of financial challenges, rent, car insurance, or a car ticket. Am I saying this is a ripoff of John Q? Well, I don't think I have the answer to that. What I do know is what I have presented. I guess it will be up to you to decide. Now, if you want to know which of these two movies I rate higher, you'd have to wait till the next time. But until then, stay weird.